Indeed, this is Newsline Live. We're broadcasting from the News First studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And we are here joined by our guest, Dr. Ajanta Pereira, the presidential candidate, for 2019. Very good morning to you, Dr.
Very
Ajanta.
good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much. Nice of you to pop in and tell us all about your experience in being a presidential candidate 2019. You polled 27,572 votes across 22 districts, and you received a total 0.21% of the vote. Do you think that your message is being taken up by the female population in the country, or what do you think? What would you think? What would you say happened? Why didn't you get more votes?
I think there are several reasons for that. I personally can't say that I am really happy with the elections that were held.
Right.
Basically, the reason being, in a country where you are actually bringing people to vote, there should be a sense of awareness all around the island as to what's really happening. And when I traveled all over Sri Lanka during this particular time, people were asking me, why are you coming? So say if I was in Badulla, people were asking me, are you really from Badulla that you are coming for this election? Or when I was in Kantale, people were asking me, are you from this area that you are standing up for the election? They didn't know that it was a presidential election. Majority of the people that I met out in the rural areas, people were not aware as to what was going on in the country.
Oh, really? Did they think it was some other election?
They were having this. They were confused as to what was really happening, and also they were confused about this Manapa system. That suddenly 1, 2, 3 system and a cross. So I think people were not brought to a situation where they really know as to what they are voting for and why are they voting for. And I think in that sense I was not happy with the way it was set up, because I think we had a budget. I think the election commissioner had a budget of so many millions given to him in order to run the election campaign. But when I looked at the budget, I was thinking he would spend a huge amount of that money, or a reasonable amount of that money, in order to educate the people as to what this election is about. Who are you selecting? What you should be looking for? Why is your vote so important?
But I don't think that that's the job of the Elections Commissioner. The Elections Commissioner only to ensure that people can vote and that the vote is safe, and it's confidential, and that it's only that there's no fraud and so on. I don't think that the promotion of that falls within the ambit of the Elections Commission.
But then I'm looking at the scenario where they were asked to vote for this Manapa, and people didn't really know what they were supposed to do.
Yes, perhaps that may have well been better explained. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was not, and we had to really. I remember even speaking to the people who actually came from the European Union, European Commission, who came in order to assess it, and they spoke to me. And I really emphasized to them, tell people, they tell one of the things that you need to let the commissioners and so on know is to educate the people on how they are supposed to be voting. This was so confusing for the people. And so I even right now people are saying to me, we gave you a Manapa, but what happened? So I said, no, it's only the first one that really counts. And they say, well, we gave you the second. And so many people...
Yes, but it only kicks in if there was no 50% plus one vote.
But people didn't know that. They thought they were doing a favor by giving, 3 Manapa for 3 people. They were not aware of exactly how it was going to work out. So what I believe is the most important in a democratic society, in a nation, is that people should be told exactly what to be expected. And they should be also given the second thing that I was not happy about the election is because there were 35 candidates. But the 35 never got an opportunity to be able to talk about what they really believe in.
What do you mean?
I'm really grateful to Sirasa MTV that they gave far more opportunities for the people to come forward and actually speak about these things. But most of the channels just did not allow that. And there were certain channels which were favoring particular candidates, and I can understand that if they have spent a huge amount of money on them or given them, you know.
But it's not supposed to work like that.
Exactly. And so I mean, even in the Election Commission, I was raising this issue about, please provide opportunity for the candidates, equal opportunity. This is what happens in many parts of the world. Give them the opportunity to say what they believe in. Why are they standing? Why are they wasting their money? Why are they coming up and, you know, putting forward their manifesto? This is in order to get across something. But not everyone got that opportunity. So I have that feeling that we were not given equal opportunity. And then I also want to say, the election commissioner gave us a letter to say that the state media will provide us with ample time to speak to the public. But then they recorded the message in Sinhala, but they telecasted it in an English channel, which very few people watch.
No.
So I'm just a little confused. Why did they record it in Sinhala when they knew very well they were going to telecast it in an English channel? So these were really, you know, for me personally, I believe that everyone should have equal opportunity. People should be able to ask questions. They should know their candidates. And this should, you know, this is a democratic society. If you're using that word democracy all the time, and if you're talking about that so elastically, let's work that way. You know, it's important for everyone. And I'm not complaining about, I mean, basically what I'm saying is I'm happy with the results. I've never been in politics. This was my first time. And I was away from Sri Lanka for 5 years. I come back and I stepped into this. And I'm happy, and I'm happy with the people who voted, and they actually told me they voted because they wanted to encourage me. They knew very well that I would not be the president, but still they wanted to kind of, you know, be good towards me, or how shall I say, encourage me. So I'm happy with that. But what I'm saying is, let's run elections proper, please.
All right, let's take a look at your actual message in a moment. After this short message on Newsline Live, we encourage you to send us your questions by SMS, please. 0772 300 305, and message should be coming up on your screens right now. We are, of course, in conversation with Dr. Ajanta Pereira, a presidential candidate of the 2019 presidential poll. So, Dr. Ajanta, what about your message to the people who you hoped would vote for you? Did you find that you were more receptive, your message was sort of received better by females or by the male voters?
I cannot say it exactly how it really worked out, because I don't know whether it's the females or the males, but I believe in my main message was to take away the fear that many of the women would have in coming into politics. I come from a totally different background to those who have been there before me. And so I am, in other words, I'm a common person, but I'm educated. I have done a lot of social work in the country, and I have something to offer to the country, and I know I'm capable. And so that's the message that I gave them. And then I understand the issues and the problems of the country. But then when it comes to the budgetary aspect, I spent a very minimal amount of 3 million only, rupees only for
Is that your money?
My own money, my personal money that I spent, and I'm really happy with that. My family allowed me to do that, and it was a small amount, so we managed it. That was just fine. But what the message I have is, anyone can stand up for elections if they believe. Whether you're a man or a woman, the most important is if you feel committed that you want to bring a change, but you want to bring a healthy change, you want to bring a democratically situated change, and also the most important thing is if you see that the country is moving in a particular direction and you do not believe it's healthy for that country, you need to take a turn, then you can come in. But the most important thing there is that the whole environment in the country should accommodate for that. This is what I'm trying to achieve right now, because there is another election coming up, and the most important is that we need to send to the parliament the right people.
Are you going to be contesting the general election?
I have not decided yet. Because I want to really see exactly what my role is in the country, because I have now taken up this situation where I have stood up for elections and I have learned a tremendous amount. And another thing I want to say is this mindset in the country about a woman coming into politics. I remember when I went to the Election Commissioner's office for the first time to say that I would be contesting, the secretary of the party was with me. The moment one of the officers saw me, what he told me was, he said, "Have you come to take away the women's votes?" And I was so shocked by that comment, you know. And you know, the immediate reaction was, "You've come to take away the votes of the women." And I am thinking, no, I come because I want to make a change for the country. Even though I am a woman, I am able to make a difference to this country.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to the winning candidate, now president?
No, I have not. I spoke to him a few times. I mean, you know, when but not necessarily. No, I have not had an opportunity. But the people have selected him to be the best among the people who stood up, and I believe that he is trying to make some changes. So if he does call me and say that he would like to have our assistance looking at our manifestos, if he believes that we can help him, of course, being part of the, this is our nation, we need to come up. Yeah.
But perhaps to help you come to a decision as to whether you will contest the parliamentary elections, I'm going to read you two messages from people. One says, "We need people of Dr. Arjontis' caliber in the parliament." Another one says, "She deserves to be in the parliament. Please ask her to contest in the upcoming general elections." There you are, members of the public.
I have to
responding
respect
to telling you to do that. But what was your key message?
My key message was two things. Number one, we have in our country policies that are prepared by experts, the so-called experts.
Right.
But those policies change. Each time a new minister sits in his ministry, he changes that policy. That's the first thing he does. So what we need is once and for all a policy for each segment. May it be agriculture, may it be fisheries, may it be industrial. We need a policy. But that policy should be made based on the people who are actually active in that area of work. For example, the fisherman should be involved in preparing the fishery policy.
Right.
The farmer should be involved in preparing the farmers' policy. Industrial workers should be involved in this, so that we have a policies in the country which do not change each time when a new government comes in. But there is a set policy which can be changed to some extent when a new minister sets in, but not drastically. Because Sri Lanka has a goal. We have an economical development which we want to reach. We have a debt that we need to get rid of. And so every president, anyone who would have sat on that president's seat would have wanted that to be solved, because that's a big issue for the country. Then we have the local industries which still have not come up. I mean, I do believe that we need the foreign industries too. We need to have better international relationships. We need to bring in the technology. But what about our own industries? For example, we have, yesterday I had a meeting with the garment factory workers, and many of the women are working, standing for 11 hours. 8 hours every day. They only get half an hour time to actually sit down and work. And so
you mean sit down and
eat something, and then they have to work, keep standing for 8 hours or 11 hours. And this is our female sisters who we need to look after.
Is it because the work they do can't be done sitting down?
Exactly. And so why I do not know why they don't have a shift system where for 4 hours one particular set would work, and for another 4 hours someone else would come in. But instead, or their jobs can be alternated so that they don't have to be that. So what I'm saying is there are so many issues that we have in the country where the people find it difficult to contribute to economic development, where they do not have the opportunity to be efficient in their systems.
Have you applied? Have you responded to the advertisement that was placed in most of the papers, asking for applications to help run state-owned enterprises and so on?
Have I applied?
Have you applied? There was an advertisement in the papers, in most of the papers, asking for people who are applications, expressions of interest, to be on the boards or chairpersons of state institutions.
All right, I've heard of that, but I have not actually applied. I was thinking about exactly in which. I mean, for me, of course, I mean that would be a possibility that I could actually apply and see whether there is a possibility to be in a board. But at the same time, what I'm thinking, of course, I will be happy to be in a board, but then the most important thing is that it comes in terms of the policy changes that we need, where we need to say that, for example, the women at work, the women who are at work, may it be in the fishery sector, may it be even in the tea plantations, upgrading their working environment. This becomes very, very important, because if you want to run the local industries, the most important thing is that they should be given all the help that they need in order for them to do their work. And this is something that I hope that the present president would take up and make sure also that this is looked after. You see, a person to work efficiently, they need to be happy. And this is something we have neglected in Sri Lanka for a long time. And I'm happy right now the traffic system is changing a little bit so that people can get to work without hassle. The transport system needs to be improved so that people can get there very happily. And,
and perhaps it should be improved so much so that the people won't be hanging for dear life on a train in the morning and in the evening when they're going home?
Exactly. These are the key things to develop a country. As much as we need industries in order for them to get a job, that also has to be, not discriminative. For example, one of the things that I suggested was in the government applications, please remove this issue about the ethnicity. Please remove this issue about the religion. Religion and ethnicity have nothing to do with the qualification of a person. If a person is born in Sri Lanka, that person has every right to be working if they are qualified. Nobody needs to know their ethnicity, nobody needs to know their religion. Why is it important? So if we can get rid of that, and then we recruit people exactly for their qualification, they come to work happy. And then if the environment around them, for them to get to work is, and if the promotions are fair, these boards are very important in order to ensure that we actually provide the right people with promotions so that they feel that they are part and parcel of that institution.
Wonderful. What do you think, though, what do you maintain of the actual voting pattern when we examine it? The two main candidates got the bulk of the votes, and there was sharp differences in the way the people voted from the areas. You see one whole side of the country voting heavily in favor of Sajith Premadasa, and the rest of the country voting with President Rajapaksa. What did you make of that?
I was expecting it.
What did you think you'd be able to do? Did you think you'd be able to get, how many votes do you think you'll be able to
Well, I would have expected far more votes than what I actually got,
Right.
because one of the reasons what I was thinking about the North was, you see, the North has issues that they need to really get resolved.
Right.
And one of the things that I was offering them was to say that Vavuniya should become a main city, or one of the major cities of Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Why I have said, I have been going to Vavuniya, I've been going to Jaffna.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I see is that the people are suffering because they feel that they are neglected, or they don't have equal opportunity like the rest of the country. This is the attitude that this is the thing that they have. And I see, for example, again, I'm coming back to women's issues all the time, but here again, I'm carrying a band. This is the UNESCO's actually discrimination against women to be stopped. This is this particular week that they are doing this. So basically, again, going back there, now there are few issues in the North that we see. The women, they take loans. They are forced to take loans because they cannot find employment. So they take loans in order to survive, in order to find even a cottage industry.
Right.
And they can't pay it back. So they take another loan in order for them to take care of the other loan. And eventually people take a huge number of loans. And I was saying that during the election campaign, 170 odd women have committed suicide because they cannot bear it. And they cannot pay it back. They don't know how to settle it. So now the key issue for them is their employment. They need job opportunities. They need to feel that that region of the country is also well developed.
Are you going to share this information, which you seem to have? Are you going to collate it all and go and see the president and say to him?
I wouldn't mind at all. Actually, this is why I'm also speaking about it in the media so much, even during the campaign, was that whoever becomes the president needs to take up these issues, because these are the real issues of the country. And then they also want to develop their own area. Any person in the east or the north, they like to see, they have a dream about that area. They know what the resources are, they know what should be protected, they know exactly what they want to leave as for their children in the future. So they want to decide exactly how to develop that area. So it is only fair that they are given the opportunity to decide on the development project. Let's take, for example, Aruwak Kalu. Did the people in Puttalam want it? No. Who forced it? The government. The government decided that Aruwak Kalu will be built and the garbage will be taken there. See, there's a new government in place now. Have they made a difference? No.
It's only a few days, come on.
I know. But the thing is, they're cleaning Colombo, and I'm very happy about that. And I'm really, really happy that the police are involved in it, and I know they're doing it.
What's the alternative? What would you like to see happen? Where would you like the garbage to go?
I do not think that every local authority must develop their own recycling plants. They must develop their own composting systems. If they do not have land, then get together with a few local authorities in the area, build the compost plant, make the compost saleable. You make sure that it becomes an enterprise so that the farmers can actually buy it at a very low cost, and then develop your recycling. Make sure that you build cottage industries for reuse of waste, just like in other parts of the world. And don't think of garbage as something that needs to be buried, but it should be something that can be developed into an economic industry. And so, basically, this is the mindset that I want to put in the country, because we are talking about earning money. And there are thousands and millions of people out there who do not have a job. And there are a lot of people who know exactly what to do. So why is it that we are not putting the two together?
Right.
One of the things that I was speaking very loudly was about how the academia should be brought into the industrial development. They're sitting in their offices. You know, they are professors. They're supposed to be having the best of knowledge. They give a little bit of that to their students. But
Right.
what are they doing with the rest of it? Give it to the industry. Give it to the farmers. Give it to the fishermen. You know, let's build this country in such a way that there is energy inside the country. You know, it's the people who are going to develop the country, not only the president and the cabinet, but it's the people.
If President Gotabaya Rajapaksa invites you to join him, will you do so? Direct question from a member of the public.
Of course I would help him. I would be very happy to help him because he is the elected president by the people.
You know that you can call him. You know you can call the Presidential Secretariat and you'll be connected. And
Well,
if
I have
if
not
he's busy, he'll probably call you back. Have you tried?
No, I have not.
Will
I
you be
have
trying?
not. I will try. If the people want me to do
Well,
that, I will
the people have
definitely do
spoken.
that.
The
All right.
cross section of the people
Yes.
have sent us messages saying
Yes,
that.
yes. No. For the sake of the country, I have been working voluntarily for 26 years without taking a cent from anyone, and so
Right.
I wouldn't mind doing that and helping him. No, definitely, because you know. But why I'm saying these things loud is because we can't develop the country without these things. You know, we need people to develop this country. We need to understand who are the people who are working in this country. Understanding their mindset is so important for the development of the country. You know, and once we understand, see, we have a huge number of youth in the country. Now, these people need to also be given the right education in order to get them on board in the economic development process. And so, and also I want to say one little thing about the ministers. Now, the president is fine.
Yeah.
It's good to have a very good, strong president
Yeah.
who knows exactly where he's going.
Yeah.
And I think we have that right now.
Yeah.
Now, but what about the ministers? You know, they need to be knowing the subject, where they're going. They can't just be given any portfolio. They can't be just given any ministry just because they may be on. You see, one of the things that I was always saying before the election was, once you become the president, you should not have a political party. You know, the moment you bring your political party to your presidential seat, there begins a problem.
There begins a problem. Well, perhaps you will make that telephone call to President Rajapaksa's office and see if you can share your experiences with him and see whether you can make your contribution to the progress of Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka will, after all.
I will.
And
I will always be working for this country because, you know, it's wonderful. I'm so happy that I was a presidential candidate. I hope there will be many more women coming in for the parliamentary elections. So that's our hope.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for all your questions. I'll read the last one out. Dr. Ajanta, our country needs your assistance. Please get in touch with the President and offer your expertise. There you go. And that's the way it was on Newsline Live this morning. Take care, have a wonderful week ahead, and of course, God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.